It's FWD Champions Day at Sha Tin on Sunday. Welcome to the Race by Race preview. Special guest joins us for the 3 Group 1s. Regular guest joins us for races 1 through to 10. Paul Lally is here. Racing gets underway early, 12:45 on the A course over the 2,000 metres. Escape Route has a wider draw. Mr Dapper has his second go at 2,000. Reach Goal has a new home. Ricky Uniata, Jamie Richards. Sharp and Bright was a 2,200 metre winner 2 starts ago. Winning Steps carries an extra £7 for his last start course and distance win. Gold Tack goes to the 2,000 for the first time. Legion of Merit doesn't, because he ran second to Winning Steps last time he raced course and distance. Romantic Fantasy is the leader here, Paul.
Led in his last 2, I think he'll lead once again. Mr Dapper, now he's up in distance to the 2,000, so I think he'll be a little bit closer. Special Heads likes to go forward, Legion of Merit. Reach Goal with a new stable. Gold Tack generally gets back. Chateau Lepiche ran on from the back last time, and Sunny Baby's drawn wide.
Romantic Fantasy leading Mr Dapper sounds like one of those novels on your desk. We move on to our first replay, and it's Special Hedge leading and fading. Legion of Merit runs second. What about Winning Steps and Chateau Lepiche? Much improved run from him.
Yeah, I'm going to take Chateau Lepiche out of this race. I think he's a horse that seems to be better as he stepped up to this 2,000 metres, and it did take him a little while to get in. Winning Steps worries me from barrier 10. He just doesn't map too well, so that was a little concern I had from him. But when Chateau Lepiche got out and started to wind up, he finished off really strongly, and I thought it was a good run from him, so I wanted to include him. Nice run from this horse.
It did take Winning Steps 7 goes to win over 2,000 metres for the first time, and Legion of Merit gets in with a lightweight down the bottom from an in-form Chris So Stable. We move on now. Gold Tack, you were keen on him at Happy Valley. He comes from well back in the field and ran second, and the way he finished, the extra 200 metres looks nothing but a bonus, doesn't it?
Yeah, it definitely does. So yeah, he goes in for sure by preferment, so that you'd think the further the better for him. Drawn nicely in barrier number 4, and has performed well at Sha Tin as well. He's still a maiden, but has performed well at Sha Tin. This horse, he's a 15-start maiden, but 4 seconds. So yeah, he's hard to leave out. I thought it was a good run from him.
Reach Goal, Jamie Richards has given him 1 trial since joining the stable. This was at Happy Valley. Nice enough trial too over the 1,700 metres. He's had 1 start course and distance, and he ran second.
He did. Look, the little thing that worries me a little bit about this horse is his win was off 43, and he's now up to a 52 rating, because he's quite a victim of his own success by running seconds, like his consistency. I have included him because I thought the trial was quite good.
1 more to have a look at. It's a little bit of track work now that you've spied at some stage leading into the race, and the horse is Mr Dapper.
Yeah, look, at his last start over 1,600 metres, he hit the line really strongly. Looked like he was looking for 2,000. He's had the 1 start over that distance, and I just really like the way he was held together there. So, yeah, I quite like him in this.
There you go. Who's in to run second, third and fourth?
Yeah, so Mr Dapper on top. I think it'll be a great start for Andrea Azzini here on Group 1 day. Chateau Lepiche and Gold Tack and Reach Goal. We talked about all 3 of those. I think Mr Dapper might come up in each way price though. 4, 9, 12 and 6.
And the man on board in that piece of track work is his trainer, Douglas White. Mr Dapper to win the first for Paul. Race number 2, an interesting newcomer at the top of the book for this race. It is a Class 3. It's over the 1,600 metres. Stunning Peach is his name. He is known as Islands in the Stream when trained by Joseph O'Brien. Frentac's going great races. Starmac, first time since the Derby. Blinkers off, cheek pieces go on. Beauty Live has the cheek pieces going on. Lane Warrior, crossover noseband is added. Kaying Superb has the tongue tie off, and Powerful Wings as the cheek pieces going on. A plethora of gear changes there, Paul. Voyage Samurai keeps going forward and racing well.
Yeah, so does Frantank. But Voyage Samurai's drawn well, Frantank's drawn wide. So I think Voyage Samurai can lead. Although he went pretty slow in the lead last time, so he wouldn't want to get into a speed battle. I thought Frantank, if he wants to lead, could. Kaying Superb, he went forward on his only run here in Hong Kong. Starmac goes back. Karma's drawn wide. He's a big horse. And Stunning Peach, I think, will go back. He's been running on in his races.
Nick is going to join us now to talk to the rider of Voyage Samurai. It's Derek Long.
Derek Long, Voyage Samurai is your ride in race 2 on Sunday afternoon. He's a really progressive horse and another nice win last time.
Yes, well, he did very good job every time. And he's a straightforward horse. And this time up class and step up further, but still do the same, try to be handy.
What about his style of running, Derek? I mean, it's quite interesting that, you know, during all three of those races, form comments have read, you know, that he's kept on well. It sort of looks the horse that the further he goes, the better he is.
Yes, well, he just keeps staying on, like what you say, and so I think a mile is no problem for him, but the pace is going to be different because class 3, but I'm sure he's still very honest.
Do you think, though, with a horse like him, who does look progressive, I mean, he looks as if the step up in grade is going to come naturally to him. How much more do you think a horse like he has got to offer? I mean, he looks very progressive, doesn't he?
Yes, well, he tries very hard every time in the race, but like in the morning, he's a bit lazy, he's a bit look around, so I think he still have room to improve. He just keep improving.
He certainly does. I mean, you've got a nice draw as well in 5. He's had decent draws the whole way through, so I guess you can slot into a nice position from there.
Yeah, I think make my job a bit easier, and I think PM horse will be straightforward, so try to lead or sit second on him, so yeah.
He does look like a nice chance. I must ask you, Derek, about your rides in the big races as well. Quite a bit to look forward to this weekend. For you personally, of course, Victor the winner and Sword Point. I guess Victor the winner on the back of Japan. Nice run there. He's a Group 1 winner. You must be really looking forward to him.
Yes, well, very looking forward. And since he come back from Japan, he's getting better and better, the fitness. And we have a good draw, try to use him, and just keep going forward.
And I guess this weather as well, Derek, I mean, he won't mind a little bit of soft conditions underfoot, will he?
Yeah, I don't think they will be bother him. I think both he can handle dry, firm or wet. So, yeah, if no one kill him in the middle stage, I think he will run very well.
And just finally, just a line on your horse in the Cup as well, Sword Point. I guess it's a competitive race, good race, but you think you've got maybe an each-way chance in that race? So if the horse runs to his best form, he could certainly, you know, run close?
Yeah. He have a nice draw, so should be just up in front, and then see what happens. And yeah, he proved him be one very honest in the early season, and now the form is getting better slightly, and so I hope he still won well.
Derek Long there talking about Sunday. We move on, Paul, from Voyage Samurai to Frantank. Both of them racing well. Both of them like to be up on the speed. Powerful Wings runs home for 5th. Frantank gets the £5 claim again for Angus Chung, but like this race, he has another wide barrier.
Yeah, so look, he might have to work to get across, and it just depends whether Derek wants to hand up or not. You wouldn't want to see them get into a speed battle, Angus and Derek, and if they did, that's probably going to ruin both their chances. So if Frantank really wants to lead, they might go and push on with him, but from barrier 11, he's going to have to work. So as such, look, I left him out. I just thought he might have to work a bit in the early stages.
Word of caution around Frantank then. What about the newcomer, Stunning Peach? He's had a total of 3 trials since he's been here. This is the most recent of them. The first 2, he was too good for Red Majesty, came from last, then ran second behind Mugen, then ran second behind Romantic Warrior. So he's trialled against good horses.
He has. Look, the query I've got with him is he's going to carry 135 on debut here, and he's coming up against some young horses coming through the grades sort of towards the bottom of Class 3. The tongue tie will go on him. Look, he's had 3 trials. He's won one of them, as you said, and from barrier 2, he should get a nice enough run, but he has come back and come from the back in all his trials. So, look, I'll include him, but only on a minor line.
Oh, he's being kept safe. Who's in front of him?
I'm going to go with Voyage Samurai. Put him on top here. Look, it's just whether he gets taken on. I've liked Helene Warriors both his starts to date. He's over 1,214. He's hit the line really strongly at big prices. He steps up to the mile now, which looks ideal for him. Karma's got a really good turn of foot. He'll get back, so he'll be sort of making big run down the outside, I think, and then Stunning Peach. 7-8-6-1.
The Voyage Bubble Colours out early in race number 2, and Paul has them winning with Voyage Samurai. This is a good race. Race number 3, there is a number of up-and-comers in this, and it's a Class 4, and it's over the 1,200 metres. Davano's 1 for 1, gets an extra £6. Lifeline Express keeps racing well. Lucy in the Sky improved a lot between his first two starts, charged home at his second outing. Golden Darcy has the pacifiers off. Newcomers, Grand Boss and Mighty Strength. Silver Destiny is minus the tongue tie. Spicy Gold comes back in trip. And Gangnam Star, he is back up in class for the third race. Devano Paul worked on debut. Pretty much worked in a trial. He went to the line under a hold, but led up in that too, so leads again.
Yeah, I think he can. He's got that really good early speed. Lifeline Express likes to put himself right there, as does Spicy Gold. Now, Glory Elite's drawn 5, and you think, well, how can he be 3 wide from 5? But just with those horses underneath him, I think it's a distinct possibility. Mighty Strength is showing speed in his trials. Handsome Bomb, Gangnam Star won't be far away. And Lucy in the Sky didn't jump last time, so he needs to jump.
He does indeed. But we do start with winning form, Paul, of Devano, who is very, very good. Island Golden 12th. Happy for All runs on for second. As good as the win was, Devano, you got a little bit of a word of caution, though.
Well, look, second up just worries me a little bit with him. He goes up 8 points for this win. He's now up to this rating of 60. Look, he did win really well, and he's trialled nicely with Galaxy Patch as well. So, look, he's obviously a really good horse. You can see Geneva chasing him home. He's in another race with Happy for All. But, look, I think he's a massive chance. He definitely goes in, but I have got one to beat him.
OK, that is Devano, our first replay. Second one is Lifeline Express. He's racing well. He does carry extra weight, though, for this third behind Full Credit. Goes up 4 pounds for it, so that's plenty more. In fact, 7 pounds more than what he carried to score 2 runs ago.
Yeah, look, he's been good, this horse. He's already won. He won 2 starts ago. So he's definitely goes in for me. But I tell you, I like the run of Silver Destiny, the one out the back there. You can see him running on really strongly in this race. The further the better for him as well. And look, I think still reckon he can get away with the 1200 though.
OK, so keep an eye on Silver Destiny. And finally, Lucy in the Sky. You mentioned his start last time, thus he is back at the tail end. Glory Elite is up on the speed. We've seen on the speed map, though, with the way it's going to pan out, he might not have the luxury of that comfortable run this week.
Well, it was enormous, this Lucy in the Sky run. Look, he bounded at the start, so I don't think it's a trait that he misses the start, because he did it on his debut run. And you can see him coming from well back. He finished off really strongly in this race, so there was a big improvement from start 1 to start 2. I think he can be sort of back in midfield and run on really strongly. The King Miles that won this race had been threatening to win one, so he got pretty close to him in the end. You know, I wouldn't be surprised with the weight pool he could upset with the likely favourite.
This is a good race, this one, isn't it?
Yeah, really good race, yeah. I'm going to go with Lucy in the Sky, though. I think he can upset Devano, but that looks a quinella for me, 3 to beat 1. Silver Destiny should be a price. I mentioned him. He ran on strongly, and Lifeline Express out of that same race. 3, 1, 11 and 2.
Paul going back the days of his long hair and flared pants with Lucy in the Sky to win race number 3. Race number 4, it's a good race day, so as you'd expect, the undercard is full of talent, and the 4th is right up there also, with Ruby Lott having his first go over 1,400 metres. Dream Pursuers run second at the trial since his last start. Always Fluke was scratched on the 7th of April with a lame left 4. Wider draw for Geneva. He's been beaten 3 times as favourite. Beauty Alliance on debut has had 4 trials. Our fastest rocket goes up in trip. Lucky Fion has the blinkers on the first time, and Telecom Bullet draws nicely in barrier number 1. Pace here, Paul, from Ruby Lott from 2.
Well, there's no real leader, and Ruby Lott has been going back. Look, Mission Voice led in a recent trial, but then after that he raced and went back again, so not sure what he's going to do. I think there'll be a lot more positive with Circuit Fiery. He's finally got a barrier draw. He's been drawing barriers 12 in his first 2 starts. He's now drawn 5. And Lucky Fion with blinkers on for the first time. I think there's a bit of intent for him to be a bit closer as well.
First replay is that of Ruby Lott. He was back down into Class 4 this race. He's raced very well in this grade. Does have the win in it. That was over the 1,000 metres back in January. Ends up running second here, beaten 5 lengths by Full Credit, but nothing was getting close to Full Credit this day. Yeah,
and there was a bit of rain around, and Full Credit really enjoyed that little bit of looseness in the track, which he might get Full Credit on Sunday. But you can see Ruby Lott stayed on nicely enough here. It was a nice enough run. He's got to carry top weight. He's got the services of James McDonald aboard. So that's why I just wonder if he'll be a little bit closer in the run.
That's our first replay. The second one is a horse you're going to make a very strong case for. It's not Mission Bravo who runs 7th, but it is Circuit Fiery, who has a much better draw than his first two.
Yeah, I think he'll be a lot closer in the run. This is his first time over 1,400 metres. He's by Tavistock, this horse. He's actually got a wet track pedigree. Not saying it's going to be wet on Sunday, but the forecast isn't good. So if it does rain, it's only going to help him. I've got a lot of time for the winner here, Super Goldie. I think he's a very good horse. So to come out of this and run third with a little bit closer in the run, I think he's a really good chance. And I do like this horse. I think he's a massive chance.
And that's a good report for Circuit Fiery. And finally, Geneva. He's becoming a little bit costly. He's trialled up terrifically. He's trialled up well also since this run. He led all of the way to score by 2 at Happy Valley, but beaten 1.5, 2.9 and 1.9.
Yeah, so look, I'm happy to take him on a win line, but look, he looked like he was just going to cruise up and win the race, didn't he? But look, he just started to flounder here and he ended up running third. I was disappointed he didn't run second, to be honest with you. At this stage, the leader was off and gone, and that's Stevano, who's going to race in the previous race. But he was entitled to run second, and he didn't. I didn't like the way he attacked the line, but there is obviously ability there, so I will include him.
Consistent around the placing, but just hard to have on a win line now.
Yeah, definitely. So that's why I'm going to go with Circuit Fiery. I think, look, the 1,400 looks ideal and it was a good run. I'm going to put Lucky Fion in there for second. I've got a bit of the time for this horse. Blinkers on for the first time. I think will really help him. Geneva in there for third. And Forerunner caught the eye finishing off strongly at his last start. He's drawn 13, so he'll be the one hitting the line. He'll go back. 4, 13, 5 and 8.
That is race number 4. It's the first leg of Sunday's Triple Trio. The first of the 3 Group 1s is the Chairman's Sprint Prize. It's race number 5. As you can see, we've brought in a very special guest to preview the Group 1s, Maddy Playle from the Racing Post. Welcome back to Hong Kong.
Great to be back in Hong Kong. The weather, it's been like being back at home this week. It's been so rainy, it's unbelievable. So we're going to factor that into some of our selections, but looking forward to getting stuck into 3 fantastic Group 1s.
3 horses from the UK. Is this weather going to suit them if it continues?
Definitely, I think so. Brave Emperor, Dubai Honour, believing perhaps not so much of the 3. They wanted fast ground for her, but certainly it would suit those 2 male horses.
You're here for the 3 Group 1s. Paul Lally from the first 4 races continues to join us as well as we have a look at the runners for this year's Chairman's Sprint Prize. It is a Group 1 over the 1,200 metres and California Spangle has gone back-to-back. Mad Cool, he was here in December, ran 8th in the sprint. He was a winner of the Takamatsu Kinnan since then. Victor the winner draws barrier number 2. Lucky With You for Andre Ratzani and Frankie Law. Deep Is Your Love has drawn the inside gate for James McDonald and John Size. The Japanese representative is Sunrise Ronaldo, Mugen and Believing for George Bowie. Little Bros makes his Hong Kong debut on the back of 5 trials for David Hayes and Karis Teaton. The speed map here, Paul, and Victor the winner and California Spangle both go forward.
Yeah, look, I think Victor the winner, he's a sort of a one-dimensional horse and he does like to lead. So as such, I think California Spangle won't be too far away. He'll be keeping a close eye on him. Now, Invincible Sage went forward for the first time last time and ran really well. So I think they'll stick to that formula for him. Mad Cool is drawn 11. If they take off, which I think Victor the winner will do, there is a chance he can slot in.
Is that this perfect spot, Maddy, on that speed map for Believing, 3 back on the rail?
Yeah, it's a good draw for her in theory. She's pretty versatile really with where she can travel in a race, but I think of the 3 Group 1s, this is the one with confirmed pace. Victor the winner, we know that he's going to be up there. California Spangle now reinvented as this sprinter. He likes to just get out and get rolling. I don't think the wide draw will be too much of a concern for Brenton Avula there. He can just let him go as he did in the Alquoz at Meydan last time. I really can't wait to see this horse on track. I think the way he's been looking all week, he's just looked so enthusiastic and really back to his best. And this new challenge, this new trip has really given him a new lease of life, I think. I think it's to do with the way races are run and the pressure and the build-up. He can just absorb that a lot easier when he's over shorter distances, as we can see here.
You've done this before, led beautifully into the Alquoz here, Paul, and He was good this day in Dubai.
He was. Look, he had 4 bad runs in Hong Kong, average runs. They brought him back to the 1200, and he's just a new horse now. And I think they'll stick to it now. If you look at his record, he's had 7 starts, 6 wins and a placing.
This is a trial from him since Maddy. He's in his favourite role. He's up on the speed here. A horse outside him there is called Top Gun. He'll make his debut on the same program. And the horse right of screen, white jacket, blue cap, just happens to be one golden 60.
Yeah, I think I recognise that one. California Spangle. I've been speaking to some of the local people on track this week, and they seem to suggest that he just looks different. He's got a swagger in his step, and you know, often that can happen when it comes to travelling horses and transporting them. They can really thrive off the back of these trips, and it seems like that's exactly what he's done.
Full credit to Tony Cruz, Paul, because he was gone earlier in the season.
He looked like it, didn't he? But as Maddy says, there is a new spring in his step, and sometimes these horses can come back flat after they're travelling away. He hasn't. He looks good.
There's been 1 or 2 murmurs around for this horse during the track work. Paul, Invincible Sage. He's coming into Group 1 racing for the first time. He did run second in the Group 2 Sprint Cup last time. The race won by Flying Ace.
This is what I was talking to you about. He was a lot handier in the run there, and he normally sort of goes back, and at this stage he came out, he was there to challenge, and he finished off the race really strongly, I thought, as well. Here I thought he was just going to run away and win, but as you can see, he did it nicely, obviously beaten here by Lucky Swaness, so there wasn't much between them at the end.
How did you assess his chances in the race? Maddy, have you heard the talk around the track? You've been at track work most mornings too. Yeah,
a little bit. It's a funny race, this sprint, isn't it? Because other than the obvious ones, there's still some improving young horses in there, and Invincible Sage definitely fits into that bracket. I wonder where he's going to position himself, though. I do think this could be quite a hot-tempoed race, and perhaps he might find that a little bit challenging. But I think he'll run well.
OK, that is Invincible Sage. This is a horse with very high speed, Mugen, but he likes to sit back and use that speed at the end. He's still an up-and-coming style horse. He's only had the 8 career starts. 3 of them go straight from Class 2. 12 months too early for Mugen, or just needs things run right to get into the finish?
I think probably a bit of both of those things, to be honest, but I do think the way this race is likely to be run will suit him, given that he is a closer from off the pace. And it's good for horses like him to get experience in these Group 1s as they progress through the ranks, and it's worth giving him a go to give him the chance to see what he can do.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I sort of think maybe he is a year too soon for him, because he didn't get past Red Lion there, and that worries me a little bit in that race.
All right, that is the local horses. We need to hear, though, from the trainer of the Visitor. It is Believing and trained by the young gun, George Bowie.
Yeah, she's shit pretty good. Not a drop of sweat on her on the journey, and can't really ask for much more. She's eating, sleeping and training nicely. Stepped foot on the turf for the first time this morning, and just a very natural filly. Come out here, and she'll go on the grass again tomorrow, and we're all systems go. Nice to get a nice gate.
And I mean, she's obviously very talented. She's Group 1 place. She's won at stakes level. When was the plan hatched to bring her out here, George?
There's a bit of a plan to possibly go to Dubai, but she was a filly who did well through the spring last year, and I was actually just talking to Nick Luck earlier. She looks a very different physical now. Like, even just the colour of her, she's wintered a lot better this year, and yeah, I think the last sort of 2 or 3 months has kind of been on the plan. I wanted to run around a bend again, and it's either here or the Breeders' Cup at the end of the year, so she'll probably do both.
I was fortunate enough to chat to Emily Scott of Highclere Thoroughbreds earlier on this morning. Obviously, you and your Saffron House Stables team now become an integral part of Highclere. Obviously, you've trained a classic winner for them as well, so this would be great to get a result here for a team like them.
Yeah, they've been huge supporters of mine, you know, from nearly when we started, and obviously we've had a Guineas winner for them and another few stakes winners. So, look, I'm not naive enough to think that it's a big task. You know, she's taking on battle-hardened Asian sprinters, and you know, who are in form. And look, she's done everything that we've asked. She's ready to rock and roll. Been away for a track gallop at home, and I couldn't be happy with her. So, look, Highclere, big international syndicate, and for them to have a runner in Hong Kong, I'm pretty sure it's their first runner, is huge thrill for them. Shame Harry Herbert's not going to be out here. He's got a meeting back home, but I think there's 17, 18 of them out here, and great to be so well supported.
of the three of us here, Maddy, you're by far the best place to tell us about Believing.
Yeah, she's a really likeable filly, third in the Haydock Sprint Cup. That was a big performance. She's been improving and she's done it in a variety of conditions as well. George is keen that she wants a bend, which obviously she'll get here. Said earlier on they weren't too sure about the weather, would prefer quicker ground for her, but she has run really well on soft ground in the past in France. She needs to keep improving, but she's a strong stayer, and if she gets a good setup, which she should do here, I think she should be finishing around the 4th, 5th, 6th. I think that would be a really respectable run.
Okay, that is Believing. Paul, did you want to make a comment on her?
No, well, I sort of agree with Maddy. I think if she does finish top 6, I think they'll be very happy.
All right, we're going to Japan now to see Mad Cool. He hasn't been well served at the barrier draws, Paul. He's out in barrier number 11. Victor, the winner, we know he likes to scoot along. What we didn't see in this replay was he had to do some early work in this race.
He did to get across there, but look, Mad Cool came along the inside, handled the ground that was there this day with no issues. Now, he's been here before, Mad Cool. He did come for the sprint, so he does know Hong Kong. I like the way he attacked the line here. He finished off really strongly, and his work's been good. He settled in really well.
Nearly got caught out the rider at the end there, didn't he, on Mad Cool? Just had to ease down. Of those two, did you have a preference, Mad Cool or Victor the winner, Maddy?
I'd much prefer Victor the winner. I'm not sure if Paul agrees with me, but just on home turf and given the likely pace setup of the race, the draw, I'd much prefer him.
All right, they're the replays and also a few other bits and pieces for the first of the Group 1s. Who have you got winning the race?
Yeah, so for me, it's California Spangle on top. He's just been a fantastic horse to follow over his last couple of starts. Then we're going with Victor the winner, again, a local 1, 2, 3, and we're going for 4 as well. Lucky with you, he's not been great his last couple of runs, but I think given that they're likely to go quite hard here, that will bring his stamina and his late charge into play. And surprisingly, I do think the debutant, Little Bros, could run well. He's been trialling well from what I can tell, and I really like the style of his Blue Diamond win. It was dominant. I think he could surprise a few people.
Yeah, I'm going to go with California Spangle as well. I think, he looks a different horseback here at 1200. Looks absolutely ideal for him. I will put Mad Cool just in front of Victor the winner coming out of that same race. Not much between them. And then Invincible Sage, I think, is the improver from the locals. 1, 2, 3, 5.
It's all about California Spangle for Cruz, Avdallah, Playle and Lally to win the first of the Group 1s on Sunday afternoon. We'll have Maddy back for race number 7, but back to race number 6 before we return to the Group 1 previews. It's a Class 3 over the 1400 metres and Beauty Crescent comes out of the Derby. Top Gun has his first race day appearance in Hong Kong. Chirin Star Spangle, he ran 12th behind James Tackett's first start. It's been back to the trials. Northern Beaches, first time at the 1400 for him. Beauty Fit carries just 1 extra pound on that last start win. We've got second to none coming up in grade. Kaying Victory, first time over the 1400. And Sunlight Power looking to make it 3 in a row, Paul.
Beauty Fit. Now, again, there's no leader in this race. He went forward. Oriental Smoke, now he went forward as well. So he might try and get to the lead. And Kaying Victory, another one that might go forward. He led in his Griffin days. Top Gun is a debutant who has shown a little bit of pace in his trials. Northern Beaches should get a nice run. Second to none likewise. Sunlight Power is starting to put it all together now and has won his last couple. And the first starter here in Hong Kong, Harmony Galaxy, will be midfield, I think.
Beauty Fit, a deserved win last time, gets in really well at the weights again. He's in behind the leader as they're about to turn for home. He's won 4 from 49, so he doesn't win out of turn, usually about 1 in sort of 8 or 9. Is that going to be a concern?
Yeah, it is a little bit. Look away now if you back My Flying Angel in front each way, but you can see Beauty Fit starting to make his run now, and he just managed to get there. Look, Oriental Smoke wasn't too far away from him. That's him in the yellow, and he's a rival in this as well. Look, I think this was his win for Beauty Fit, so I didn't put him in there. Now, Oriental Smoke had the £10 claim there. He hasn't got that on the weekend.
You can see My Flying Angel on Wednesday night,
Yep.
Nominated for the Valley. Off to the second replay. This is second to none, getting a perfect trip behind a firm into this grade for the first time, and is a 1400 metre winner out of this race. Did run 4th at the trip 2 starts ago behind Loyal Bobo.
Yeah, and I thought it was a good run from him. He's going to get a very similar run to this as well. He's got to come up and grade and do it, but I think he can. Second to none. It was a nice win. He bet a firm here on this day, and the firm's run well once again since. So a nice win from him. He just got there in the end, but look, I wouldn't be surprised if he ran well once again.
That's winning gold, running 3rd, and he has come into that race and hacked up since then. Also, Sunlight Power was huge winning this race. He had no luck from the draw, and his last 2 starts, he's been too good for Ariel by a length and a half, and then he beat the Absolute here and got him by 3/4 of a length. Been to Chung Fa, trialled under a strong hold up there behind Mugen, but this was gutsy.
He's always had the ability, this horse, but he's been really raw. Look, earlier in his career, it looked like he was just going to start winning after his debut run. It took him a while to get that win, but now he's put 2 together, and the pennies really dropped for this horse. I really like the way he attacked the line here. So, look, I think he can win again.
As far as we need to go to find the winner. Sunlight Power for Paul in race number 6. The trial from Top Gun, he's had 3 of them. He runs 3rd in this one. There's a couple of up-and-comers to watch out of this trial too, Paul. The horse to the inside is called California Spangle, and the one in the white on the outside is called Golden 60.
Yeah, they go all right, those ones. Look, Top Gun, he did win over 12, 14, but he ended up as a 1,600 metre horse in Australia before he did get here. He's drawn barrier 14, so I'm not sure what sort of run he's going to get there. If he goes forward, he'll be looking for some cover, as we saw on the speed map. So, yeah, that just worries me a little bit with him.
He'll be starring the Mauritian Tom Cruise as Karis Teaton in the saddle on Top Gun in that race. Harmony Galaxy and Rocket Spade appear in this trial. Harmony Galaxy has had 4 trials. He beats the recently retired Prime Minister in this.
Yes, and look, 20 start maiden for Rocket Spade coming down the outside, but he's been beaten a nose on a couple of occasions there. Look, it was a nice enough trial from Harmony Galaxy. He's had the 4 trials to get him ready for this. He comes with Brazilian form. He was a maiden when he got here. He was placed in a Group 1, but never actually won a race before he got here.
And at this stage, won't be winning on debut in Hong Kong?
No, I didn't put him in then. I'm happy to watch him.
Who's in?
Going to go with Sunlight Power on top here. I think he can go 3 in a row here. So he's on top. Now, Beauty Crescent comes back from the 4-year-old series. Look, he's a possibility to go forward because he did go forward in one of those races, the middle one, the 1,800 metres. But he is back to 14, second to none. And I'm going to put Northern Beaches in. He's a very consistent horse. He's got Damien Lane aboard and drawn nicely in barrier 6. But I think 13 can win this. 13, 1, 10, 7.
Harry Bentley and Ricky Yu for Paul to continue on their winning way with Sunlight Power. We roll on to race number 7, as you can see, and welcome back, Maddy, for the preview of the second of the Group 1s. This is the biggie for the local hero. It's Golden 60, aiming for 4 FWD Champions miles in a row. He's at the top of the book. Voyage Bubble comes back from Dubai. The Beauties, Eternal and Joy, horses 3 and 4, draw 11 and 4 respectively. The Japanese representative is Obam Buramai. Brave Emperor comes down from the UK for Luke Morris. Further Japanese runners, Champagne Colour and Elton Barrows, and the Derby runner-up, Galaxy Patch. Blake Shin back in town to ride him for Pierre Ung. He does like to go back in his races, Galaxy Patch, Paul. He draws that inside gate. What about Golden 60? Where's he going to land?
Well, look, I think they'll be positive with him because when he has sort of failed, and the very rare times he's failed, he's gone back and he's had too much to do. So when he's positive, I think they'll try and get in behind Brave Emperor, who's all what I've seen is a go-forward horse. He likes to put himself on the pace, as does Red Lion. But Voyage Bubble is going to get the easy lead, I think.
And you think that could be a telling factor, Maddy?
I do. I think this pace map is so key to this race. I think of all the big Group 1s this weekend, I think Voyage Bubble's going to get the best run of them all. As Paul touched upon, I think Brave Emperor is going to sit close enough, but I don't think he's going to be pressuring Voyage Bubble too much. He's got a nice draw in 6. I just don't think there's going to be much pressure on him on the front end. Like you mentioned, Vincent on Golden 60 these days, if he is either trapped wide or there's not too much pace, he tends to be alive to that, and he does tend to be a bit closer. But even still, I don't think that's the ideal setup for Golden 60, whereas it will be for Voyage Bubble.
All right, well, that is Maddy's thoughts on Voyage Bubble, the man that is trying to beat her in all of them and win it again is the trainer of Golden 60. Here is Nick with Francis Loy.
Francis Loy, we've just had the barrier draw for Champions Day. Your champion, Golden 60, is drawn in gate number 7. That's the widest draw he's ever had in this race. What are your first reactions to barrier 7?
Yeah, I think John 7 is okay, not inside, not outside.
Francis, obviously there's been so much chat about this horse always. I mean, he is an absolute superstar. He's had a bit of a setback. Just fill us in, how is the horse? I mean, we've seen his recent trials. He looks great. Are you happy with the way everything's gone?
Yeah, at the moment his condition is just in time. You know, he have 2 barrier trials already, and even we have a grass gallop this morning. After that, jockey Winston Ho, he's very happy with him.
In regards to sort of the way that you're training him now, Francis, I mean, he's an 8-year-old. Have you had to change anything with the horse, or has it just been sort of the same the whole way through?
We just do the same. Of course, you know, he's 8 years old, so we just look after him, and sometimes you have to be more careful on him, because he have the old problem. Sometimes he have information or something like that. You know.
Obviously, a lot of us this week, Francis, are monitoring the weather. I mean, it's been very wet here in Hong Kong, of course. Now, going through Golden 60's form, I mean, I know he got beaten a Gold Cup there on a softer track behind Russian Emperor. How big a concern is that for you and the team regarding the ground?
I think that's the main thing we have to worry about, because according to his record, he like good going. So according to the weather report, maybe raining. So that's the main thing we worry.
Yeah, and I guess when you look at his running style, Francis, I mean, he's got that electric turn of foot, hasn't he, in the closing stages of a race. And I guess because of the better ground, that's what we see him to his best on.
Yeah, I think so. Better ground, he can have a good turn of foot, but soft ground, we don't know.
Francis, if we cast our memories back to December, obviously it was one of those days where you were happy to be here and tell people that you were here, and saw a magical performance from Golden 60 when winning at the international meeting. He's going for 4 in a row. It will be a new record should he win on Sunday. I mean, how do you put that into words? I know we aren't at race day just yet, but it's so exciting to think that he could win 4 in a row, isn't it?
Of course, you know, we just focus the local race, and you know, the past few years we have a lot of things happen in Hong Kong, even COVID and everything. So we just focus in Hong Kong. Of course, I like to see him win again.
Francis with the fresh cut leading into Sunday too there, Paul. What a horse.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? And look, it'd be fantastic. The crowd will go nuts if he does win. It's a big ask. We haven't seen him since December, and he's had that work, but a few things against him. But I thought that leading into December, and he absolutely destroyed them.
From 14 too, Maddy.
Yeah, we doubted him, didn't we, in this very studio? It was spectacular. One of the most exciting things I think I've ever seen on a racecourse. If he can reproduce that effort, then he should be winning this very easily. But there are question marks there, as we know, because he's coming back from an injury.
You've already given a good push in the speed map for this horse, Maddy. Voyage Bubble. Here is his second in the City Hong Kong Gold Cup, and the horse that beat him did happen to be one Romantic Warrior.
Exactly. This horse, he's just such a likeable individual. You know, he goes forward, he's honest, he's genuine, he produces his best every time, and he still seems to be improving. You know, still only a 5-year-old. Of course, he was successful in that 4-year-old series last year, and Romantic Warrior is probably one of the best horses in Hong Kong if you take Golden 60 out of the equation. You know, we know what he's capable of. Travelled to the Cox Plate, multiple Group 1 winner. And Voyage Bubble, you know, there's absolutely no disgrace in being beaten by him there. It was a great effort, and I just think the way this race is going to be run is going to really, really suit this horse.
Do you think he's better at a mile too, Paul, Voyage Bubble?
Yeah, look, I know he won the Derby, but look, we doubted he would get the 2000 at one stage, and he does look like an outset, you know, dead set miler, and he's what's he by Deep Field, and those horses do go best, you know, sort of 14 to 16.
I think as well you can totally put a line through the run in Dubai last time. You know, was it 13 of 16, drawn on the inside, didn't go forward or as forward as we're used to seeing him in Hong Kong here. Got hit with a wall of horses, nowhere to go, and then impeded late on in the stretch as well. So I wouldn't have any worries about that. I don't think that was a production of what he can do.
Yeah, forgive for Dubai coming back to his home track. Off to the Derby now, Paul. Is there a more versatile horse in Hong Kong than Galaxy Patch?
No, it's the answer to your question. And what is his best distance? We don't know. He's here. We were a little bit worried that he wasn't going to relax enough, but he did here over the 2,000 metres. They went crazy in front, and you could just see him absolutely getting out at the right time. He just ran into a better horse and Massive Sovereign, but the mile looks absolutely ideal from him this stage, and you just wondered, because this is sort of his first preparation, would he be good enough for this class? And he is the answer.
I absolutely love this horse. I think some horses just strike you and they're fun to watch, and he's definitely one of them. We know he's versatile with regards to trip. I do worry a little bit with the lack of strong pace in this race. Voyage Bubble, I think it could just dominate, as I've said, and the inside draw for him could cause a couple of problems, but I just think he's a really exciting horse for Hong Kong looking forward.
He is in 3 outstanding rides in that derby. Purton, Shin and Atzani first, second and third. We're off to Sydney now, Maddy, with a Japanese runner, Obamburamai. Now we go back to November for this race. It's the Golden Eagle at Rose Hill. He did race in the Doncaster, finished not too far from the winner on a rain-affected track in some traffic. He worked pretty well in the rainy conditions here in Hong Kong through the week too.
Yeah, I really like this horse. He's a strong individual, very muscular, and when I watched this replay, I was surprised that he managed to get up from the position that he was in. Look how dominant he is at the line there, and actually won pretty snugly in the end. I think this race is going to suit him. There might not be as much pace pressure perhaps as he would like, but I can see him finishing on strongly in the closing stages.
Yeah, no, I agree, and he can never underestimate the Japanese, can you?
That race was 1,500 too. He gets an extra 100 metres, of course, in the Champions Mile. Still in Japan, but we go back now to the win by Champagne Colour. Paul, Obamburamai appears here again, running third, and of course racing left-handed at this track.
Yeah, look, he's put in a couple of bad runs as well, Champagne Colour, which is just a little bit of a worry, but look, there was a bit of rain around here on this particular day, and he stayed on and won nicely enough. So again, one of these Japanese that you don't want to underestimate. He's drawn barrier number 2, so he should get a nice run, but I just think there's others that are a little bit stronger.
Would you prefer Obamburamai over Champagne?
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
yes, so would I.
Yeah.
All right, so it's a unanimous vote for Obamburamai to beat Champagne Colours home, but they're not the only Japanese runners in this race, Maddy. There is also Elton Barrows. Would you prefer Elton Barrows over the other two?
Yes, I think I would, just. There's not much in it between him and Obamburamai, but this horse has been a bit of a slow burner, but he's got plenty of ability. We see him here. That track looks to be kicking up a little bit there. I've really been taken by what I've seen from him in track work this week. He's a really nice physical specimen, and he has got some really good form in the book. Beat the likes of Songline out in Japan. This probably not his best effort, but he did have that Good Mile Championship run behind Namur when he was 4th. That was a very decent effort. I think he'll be involved.
Yeah, I definitely do. I think he could be some value. You look at these Japanese horses, how they've arrived, and you see over the years these ones that pop up that sort of go under the radar at decent prices. And I think he could be one of those. Now, that was 1,800 metres, and I think 16, back to the 16 is going to be ideal for him.
I'm sensing a bit of love here. Voyage Bubble and Elton Barrows for the pair of you. Is that where we're going? We'll start with you, Maddy, your selections.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Voyage Bubble. I feel bad dismissing Golden 60 in a way, but I just think the way that this race is going to pan out is really going to suit him. Golden 60, he's got to be in there. Of course he has. Then I'm going with the horse Paul likes, Elton Barrows, and another Japanese horse to round off my 4, Obamburamai.
Yeah, I'm going to go with value in this race. Look, we'll all be cheering Golden 60 if he comes down and hits the front, but Elton Barrows should be a decent each-way price. Golden 60, I think, is going to come up 1.2, 1.3. So 8 to beat 1 there, and then Voyage Bubble, I agree exactly with what Maddy's saying, and I'll throw Galaxy Patch in, the versatile horse. 8, 1, 2 and 9.
Couple of non-believers. Paul and Maddy both tipping against the champ, and when he does win, we'll put Maddy and Paul's email address on the screen for you to send some hate mail in next week when Golden 60 is victorious again in the Champions Mile. There is one more Group 1 to preview. It is the FWD QE2 Cup, and Romantic Warrior aims for a three-peat at the top of the book. And James McDonald back in town to ride him. Dubai Honour returns also to Hong Kong. Ishiaguazu's had 2 starts at Sha Tin for 2 placings. Prognosis, he ran second to Romantic Warrior this race last year. Straight Arrons on the way back from Dubai. We've got Northbridge, Japanese representative, happy together. He goes into Group 1 racing for the first time, and Massive Sovereign has had 2 starts and won a Class 3 in a derby since he has been here in Hong Kong. Sword Point the leader here. Paul, you think that Romantic Warrior is going to have the pace to get across from 10?
Yeah, he did last time. He actually ended up on the rail as they came around that first bend last time. I think something similar can happen here. Sword Point led last start, and I think they'll do the same. Look, I think the good thing for Romantic Warrior is Nimble Nimbus drew outside him because he's the other one aiming for that position. But I think Romantic Warrior will beat him there. Northbridge has drawn well, the Japanese horse. Happy Together and Straight Aaron will be midfield, Dubai Honour. Prognosis has got back in his Hong Kong starts, as is Massive Sovereign, and we know 5G Patch is always last.
Again, though, I think this is a case of there's not going to be spades and spades of pace. You know, if James McDonald just wants to sit behind Sword Point on Romantic Warrior, then he can do. That horse, you know, he's decent at his level, but shouldn't be winning a race like this. So I don't think necessarily it's going to be the strongest pace. Maybe that negates a bit of the wide draw for Romantic Warrior.
All right. What about Dubai Honour? That sort of pace hindrance to him?
I think he'd probably prefer a slightly more honest gallop, but at the same time, he can be close enough. And I was really impressed by what he did last time at Kempton. All
right, we'll hear from assistant trainer Izzy Paul around him very soon, but we need to focus on Romantic Warrior first of all. Paul, here he is in the City Hong Kong Gold Cup. He had a duel with Voyage Bubble, but in the end, he always looked to have Voyage Bubble covered.
Yeah, well, this is what I was telling you about with Sword Point leading, and he managed to get him behind. So he came out at the right time. These two went clear, and they were class above anything else in this particular race. It's hard to see anything sort of overturning Romantic Warrior in this one. A good run by Straight Aaron. He finished off nicely enough. Of the rest, Nimble Nimbus, I think, ran the race of his life, and his draw is not going to help him.
Your thoughts on Romantic Warrior, Maddy?
Yeah, he just does everything right, doesn't he? He always does enough as well. He's got such a genuine attitude. I really like this trial that we're seeing now from him. It's so difficult to oppose a horse like him who has the courage as well as the class. I do think there's reason to think that Straight Aaron can run a really big race. It's been so frustrating to follow in Hong Kong, so unlucky in that cup back here in December, and I'm confident that he will get one of these big races, but I don't think it's going to be on Sunday.
Just before we get your comment, Paul, Maddy, that horse on his inside there is now called Stunning Peach. It was called Islands in the Stream before he arrived. He's going to have his debut at this meeting. What can you tell us about him? Yeah,
he's a typical sort of import that I'd expect from Ireland. He showed some really good level of form as a 2-year-old, and yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do, but it's often the case. We need to see how he acclimatises.
Absolutely. I know it's a Group 1 preview we're doing here, Paul, but he does.
That was unfair, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah. We just thought the fact that he has trialled up well next to Romantic Warrior, we'd mentioned that.
It's a bit hard like that. Yeah, no, definitely. I thought it was a great trial from a Romantic Warrior. Maintenance style, did what he had to do, and he trialled well.
All right, we're going back now to the Hong Kong. We'll keep the questions nice and easy from here on. Romantic Warrior here, Paul. Ishi Iguazu. He just loves this place, Ishi Iguazu. He's about 300 years old, and he probed up to nearly win this race.
Yeah, look, I was trying to get him in the numbers in the end, and I was trying to get him in for 4th, but in the end I didn't. But he's so honest, this horse, and you wouldn't begrudge him racing really well. Again, you can see Romantic Warrior getting the wood on most of these horses, like Sword Point, Nimble Nimbus, etc. So you can. This is what Maddy was talking about. Straight Aaron was finishing off really strongly there, wasn't he?
Yeah, and so impeded as well when he was trying to get out behind Ishi Iguazu.
And that is Prognosis in the yellow colours running on out wider. So we can talk more about Prognosis now, Maddy, because he has been back to Japan and run in the Kinko show. That was over 2,000 metres and he won it. Yeah,
he's a Hong Kong horse, this, in a bit, because he just keeps running really, really well in these races behind the likes of Romantic Warrior and Dubai Honour. Their form intertwines as well. He's an honest horse. The vibes seem to be very strong, that he's as good as ever, and we see that here in the replay with his late finishing kick. I think he wants an honest pace. Whether he's going to get the real strong pace that he wants, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree. He's going to probably get back a little bit, but look, he's honest. His work's been good since he's been here. He's settled in really well, so he's going to run a race.
Izzy Paul is looking after Dubai Honour while he's here in Hong Kong, and Nick spoke to Izzy at the barrier draw Thursday.
Izzy Paul, assistant trainer to William Haggis. Great to see you, great to chat. We've just had the barrier draw. Dubai Honour is drawn in gate number 9. What are your first reactions to where he's drawn?
It's obviously not ideal, but you know, it's Romantic Warrior's in 10, so hopefully we've got that angle covered, and the rain keeps coming down, so that's kind of the thing we're most excited about.
How big a positive is that for your horses? You know, he's obviously got plenty of proven form on softer surfaces. Is that the sort of the factor that you're really banking on, that can bring out the best in him to go those couple of places better this time in?
Yeah, I think that, and also the fact, you know, he's coming here a lot fresher, which is definitely a benefit. He'd run 2 kind of big races in Australia before he came here last year, had travelled however many thousands of miles, so I think that side of it's definitely a big bonus as well.
You're very close to the horse. Obviously, this isn't your first trip here with him. Obviously, we've seen him at track work. He looks great. How is he feeling? I mean, the reports are that, you know, he's in pretty good form this year.
Yeah, no, he feels absolutely great. I had a bit of time off, sort of away from him because I took a different horse down to Australia. But yeah, the guys at home have done a fabulous job as ever, and no, he's feeling in great form, looking in great form. So everything's positive.
Better for him this year, Maddy, coming straight from home rather than via Australia, do you think?
I'm not too sure. Could be. It's difficult to say at this time of year, but the rain will have certainly helped his chances. He's been there, done it before and got the T-shirt, but I do think this is a deep race, and Romantic Warrior, I'd expect him to have too many guns for him if on his best.
Have you got him in, Paul?
I'd put him in, but on a very minor line. I tend to agree with Maddy. He's been here and I think he's had his chance. We'll see what happens this year.
Boom horse, this one. Massive Sovereign has been huge since he's been in Hong Kong. Zach Purton takes the ride.
He feels like he's come through the run well, but you know, this is our chance to see where he stacks up against the international horses. Yeah, on ratings he's well out of it, but he's at the start of his career here in Hong Kong, and the other horses have been around for a long time. They're established, so I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure he's in good order. Well, what he's done so far has been special for sure, and it was obviously a good performance in the Derby. But he's got everything ahead of him now. You know, that was against 4-year-olds, and now he's got to go against the older horses, and they know their job, and we know how good they are, so it's going to be a good test.
It will. It'll be a great race, Maddy. Who are your top 4?
Yeah, well, unsurprisingly for many, it is Romantic Warrior on top for me. He's just been a spectacular horse for Hong Kong for the last couple of years. And Straight Aaron, we mentioned him earlier on, and you could see how frustrated I was by him, but I just think he's got so much ability. And if you go back and look at his Australian form as well, he handles a wetter track, so that's in his favour. Massive Sovereign, unexposed, so much ability. Probably not the best draw and not the best pace setup, but that didn't stop him necessarily overcoming that to win the Derby. I think he can go very well. And then Dubai Honour, for me, he shoves Prognosis out of the 4. Just think the signs have been very encouraging this week.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Romantic Warrior as well. Very hard to tip against Romantic Warrior, so he's on top. Prognosis in there for second. Look, he's been working well since he's been here. Massive Sovereign, look, he's untapped. We don't know. He's unbeaten in Hong Kong. What sort of heights is he going to get to? He's the one I'll be keeping a close eye on the race. And then Dubai Honour there just on a minor line. 1, 4, 11 and 2.
There it is. The preview for the 3 Group 1s is now complete. Maddy, thanks for joining us. As always, been great to have you in the studio.
Thanks for having me, Mark. Yeah, really appreciate it. And hopefully everyone has a great time on Sunday.
We'll see you in December, if not before.
Hope so. See you then.
Paul, we'll see you for race 9.
I look forward to that.
Class 2, 1400 metres is race number 9. Here they are from top to bottom, with Telecom Fighters doing all of his winning over the 1650 at Happy Valley. Wider draw and up in trip for Atala Begil. Fantastic Treasure, a 3-time course and distance winner. Drombeg Benner has a 50% strike rate when it comes to track and distance. Lucky Encounter, a last start winner, carries an extra £5. We've got Superb Boy back in trip, but races well over this distance. Supreme Lucky went around over the 1200 last time, and Mighty Stride, first up since December. He bled after a trial in January and is on the comeback trail here, Paul. Couple of likely front runners here. Drombeg, Benner, Telecom Fighters, but it doesn't end there because Outgate's right behind them.
Yeah, all those 3 like to lead, as you mentioned. And Telecom Fighters has got the £10 claim on, so he might just go on with it. Which, if he does, that'll help Lucky Encounter, because he's another one that likes to lead. He led all the way last time, but he managed to get away with a couple of cheap sectionals there. Blue Marlin, he's drawn wide. He's going to need a bit of luck from his draw. Wonder Kit likes to go forward. Keithy's been out of form for a while now.
Yeah, he's been struggling big time, poor old Keefe. But one horse that hasn't is Lucky Encounter. Nick with his trainer, David Hayes.
David, cracking meeting coming up on Sunday. Outside of the big races, of course, there's a really good undercard. And, well, you're going to saddle Lucky Encounter again. Great to see him back to winning ways last time.
Yeah, it was quite a dominant win. 1400's probably the question, which punters might say. But he's only had one go at it, and I think with the right tempo, he'll be really hard to pick up.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Obviously, he's won an only try over the trip. I mean, it was a very creditable run, and he wasn't beaten far at all.
No, behind good horses, and I think he's in a lot better shape now than what he was then. I think he's just in a rich vein of form, so hopefully he can negate the tricky gate from 8 or 9 he's drawn. So if he gets across nicely without working too hard, he'll be there for a long time.
Yeah, sadly, it's the latter in 9. Beat a good field last time, of course. That form looks as if it will stack up. It went forward last time. Is that probably the way to ride him, do you think, now?
I think at 1400 the tempo will be slower, so I'd be surprised if he wasn't in the first 3.
You've always had an opinion of this horse, David. I mean, they've put him up another £7 off to 89 rated, but do you think there's still a bit to work with?
I think he's 100 in disguise. So in the next 12 months, I think he'll get above 100 for sure.
I mean, he just has a sort of tidy way of doing things, doesn't he, really? I mean, visually watching it last time out, he looked as if he is the horse that's going to continue to progress.
Well, yeah, if you look at a few of his wins, he's always very strong the last 100. He gets stronger as the straight goes on. So that's why I want to persist with the 1400. It just gives him a lot more options to race, so hopefully he'll get it.
Yeah, he looks a nice chance. I must ask you just about your runner in the sprint, Little Bros. We had the barrier draw, drew a good gate. All okay with him? I mean, it's an exciting runner to have, isn't it, really?
Yeah, look, it is. He's a Group 1 winner. He deserves to be in the race. He'll get a cosy run now from the barrier. I was really concerned about drawing a wide gate going in so deep. But we've taken the gamble to go deep. But because of the Jockey Club changing the way they handicap after these races, if you run a place, you can't jump really out of the class, so we thought it was worth a try.
Throw at the stumps for Little Bros, but Paul, we need to continue on with the race 9 preview. Out gates, this is him running second. He was outside the leader. He's been racing quite well. Telecom Fighters is hard to have anywhere other than that distance at the Valley, and Keefe, unfortunately, is just hard to have full stop at the moment.
Yeah, he's not going well, is he? Look, I thought there was a lot of money for Outgate here in this race. He sort of needs his own way. When he's won his races, he's managed to dictate, and he's not going to get that, definitely with Telecom Fighters in the race once again. Yeah, I was surprised when I saw Telecom Fighters here. I thought, if I picked up the wrong form guide, it's a Happy Valley. But look, they're having a crack at Sha Tin, and good luck to them.
They are indeed. And one more to have a look at, and this is the horse that you like, Mighty Stride. We saw this trial back earlier in the meeting with Harmony Galaxy and Beauty Crescent in it amongst Rocket Spade, but the one that you like cannot possibly be missed.
He's the big boy with the white face, isn't he? I thought he was going better than the winner here. Now, he's coming off the back of a bleed, but that's the best time to catch these horses. He won fresh up in the past when there was no support for him. He's drawn a little bit wide, but I think he can slot in there midfield, and he needs a bit of room, and I just like the way he cruised to the post there.
And all of his trials have been good, all 3 of them.
Yeah, so he's had plenty of trials, and I think he'd be fit enough to run a really good race fresh, this horse. So we'll put him on top, and hopefully we'll get a little bit of a price about him. John Big Banner from the front, Blue Marlin will need some luck from his draw. And Supreme Lucky, I think he'll go back, and he'll be finishing off strongly as well. So a good race, this one, 13, 5, 8 and 12.
Paul giving a win to visiting jockey Luke Morris on Mighty Stride in race number 9. Final race. We can't say we've saved the best for last because it's such a good program, but it's a very good race number 10, and it is a Class 3 over the 1200 metres with Hasten Delight, a last start winner carrying an extra £7. James Tack goes up £8 for his last start win. Stellar Express up in distance for the first time. Gusto Sissimo has had 4 trials and looked good. Storm Rider cannot draw a gate. Star Club comes up in grade, so do Full Credit, who's a last start winner, and Phoenix Light and Colourful Prince down towards the bottom. In between them, Telecom Power has the blinkers going on for the first time. There's some talent here, Paul.
Yeah, look, Full Credit, he led all the way last time, and Colourful Prince, he definitely likes to lead, so the pace should be good. Gracious Express has drawn well. Hasten Delight wasn't far away when he won last time, and we know Massive Action likes to lead as well. Normally more over 1400 though. Gusto Sissimo, he's gone forward in his trials. He'll need a bit of luck. James Tack should get a nice enough run with Star Club.
few to have a look at here, and we start with winning form around Hasten Delight, whose trial form had been good. Limited amount of trials before his first start, Paul, and then he pulled up Aurora in that race when down the track behind Solid Impact. Everything worked fine here, and he bounced back to hold off California Deeply.
Yeah, nice win from him, and California Deeply finished off strongly as well. The 1200 looks good for California Deeply now, doesn't it? But look, the roaring issue worries me a little bit with him. He has to carry the 135 as well. So that just put me off a little bit. But it was a cosy enough win if everything goes right for him.
It was. That's our first replay. Second one's another very impressive horse, James Tack, who's behind a rejuvenated I'm a Single Man turning for home here. He's looking for back-to-back wins, James Tack, and make it 3 from 4 course and distance. Jerry Chow, who has been cleared to ride after being indisposed to Happy Valley, has a terrific record on him.
Yeah, and he goes really well, this horse. He's drawn 8, so he'll just need a little bit of luck, as we saw in the speed map. He might be 1 or 2 places further back than he's has been in his races. But he's doing everything right at the moment. He's quite a progressive horse. Another one has to carry a decent weight of 132, with Jerry taking 2 off. But look, he can only win, and he's been winning well.
He has, and he whacked Kaholo Angel, who came out and whacked them at Happy Valley after that run and did it in style. What of Stellar Express, Paul? He's bumped into Baby Crystal 3 times. Big plus for him. Baby Crystal's not in this race, and he has won over the 1200 at Deauville prior to arriving, so his first go at the trip. The distance doesn't look to be an issue.
No, it doesn't at all. The barrier may be a little bit, barrier number 11 for him to overcome. I'm going to include him, Stellar Express, just on a minor line, because he's quite consistent and he's been running really well, this horse. Just has to overcome barrier number 11. He's got James McDonald to help him do that, and you can see him finishing off strongly enough to suggest 1200 looks ideal.
A few more to look at. Gracious Express, only lightly tried since arriving in Hong Kong. His first go was down the straight, went 4th behind Baby Crystal. And first go around the bend, he ran 2nd behind 80 Light Years. He improved quite a bit between his first 2 starts and draws kindly again.
Yeah, look, I thought he had the perfect run in this, so no excuses. Was just beaten by a better horse on the day, 80 Light Years, who has been in good form. Look, he was again on the cusp. It's a really good race, this one. So he didn't quite make it in, but he did what he had to do, and he wasn't losing ground, but he wasn't really gaining ground. 80 Light Years eased up in the end.
One more to have a look at. This is a full credit. We heard from Mark Newnham in an interview in the last 2 weeks to say perhaps he was flattered by the fact there'd been some rain around prior to start time. Well, he might be flattered again come the weekend, because there's been plenty of rain around.
Yeah, that's what I'm banking on a little bit here with him, because he absolutely fair dinkum bolted in this horse, and the little bit of the softness in the track really helped him. He obviously really relished it. He's going to be in the right place, right on the sort of on the pace. And look, he was he was beaten by Sky Hard, who's come out and won again in his first start, and then Lifeline Express. And he's been racing well, so he's come out of some decent form races.
He has. That was so dominant. Arian, he'll need to be better again, but he can't have been any more impressive than that.
No, exactly. So look, I think he can make the step up. I'm going to go with him. Full credit on top. I've always had time for Storm Rider. He's just barrier 14 once again for him. He's trialled quite well up at Chung Fa leading into this, so he goes in there for 2nd. James Tack and Stellar Express, we highlighted both those 2 horses. 8, 5, 2 and 3.
With no conventional racing to win this week, replaced by the FWD Champions Day preview show, the best bet and long shot, and the play's been held over to the race by race preview.
Yeah, there was a few to choose from here. I ended up with Circuit Fiery. I think this horse by Tavistock, if it's dry or wet, it's not going to bother him. He's drawn 12-12 in his first 2 starts from barrier 5 with Zach Pertenbourg to get the perfect run. And look, we'll be a little bit controversial here. We're going to go with Elton Barrows, who's coming up as a Japanese raider coming up in the main race there. And then the play of the day, we're going to do Karma Voyage Samurai and Helene Warrior, hopefully a bit of value in race number 2.
Best bet race 6, the informed number 13, Sunlight Power, into barrier 4 and up in grade with just 119 on his back. He's looking for 3 in a row, so he goes on top to win race 6. Thought Mission Voice could further improve, and from barrier number 8, Speedmap's got him up outside the leader. If he can get across and race handy, thought it was his best chance of winning at his 3rd start. Let the heckling begin. Gone out on a limb here, Paul. Play of the day, all up win Golden 60, Hermetic Warrior, race 7, number 1, race 8, number 1.
That is popular in the taxis.
Will it what? Going outside the square there. That has been the Race by Race preview. Enjoy your FWD Champions Day. The first race at 12:45. Event starts 11:45 and we'll see you, Paul, on camera at 12:15.
Look forward to it. It should be a really good afternoon.
It will indeed. Sunday at Sha Tin.